Hello and welcome to Padres Talking Padres, your favorite show and the only show about real Padres talking about the Padres. No music, sorry.
Yeah.
How's it
And
going, Jerry?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And obviously, no Jay.
No, Jay. Jay was in Chicago.
Yeah. He texted me, and just as he was texting me, I guess Juan Soto hit his home run.
Yeah, I was. Well, it's like I go, wait, he's in Chicago, and
Yeah.
my wife goes, yeah, he told us. I go, I never told me he was going to Chicago. He might have told you. I had no idea. And because he said, I'm going to the White Sox Yankee game. First, I'm thinking, oh, did he go up to see his in laws because his
Uh-huh.
wife is from New York? And I go, wait, they're in Chicago.
They're in Chicago.
And he said,
On the,
I'll let him describe the stadium next week, but he
yeah.
wasn't
On
overly
the south
impressed.
side. Yeah.
He wasn't overly impressed with the Comiskey Park too. Um, anyway, he's not here, but we're here to talk about our San Diego Padres.
Of which we predicted correct again.
2 weeks in a row, and again,
It
it
was-
didn't really, it could have been 6-0. Hey, Oz, it could have been 6-0. I mean, it was just inches away, and we're talking about the Sunday, the
Mhm.
Hassan Kim home run that turned out to be a double, and he needed it because he really needed the home run because he was responsible for the bad inning. The 3 runs in
Yeah.
the second or third inning.
Yeah.
He just is not. He's not focused. There's something going on with him. He's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said he has a low baseball IQ sometimes, but to me, he just seems like he's not. He's making mistakes, just a lot of them. But I did a video on that play, and as I watched it over and over again, I'm pretty convinced that if the outfielder hadn't had touched the ball, it would have went over the fence on its own. Because when he hits the wall, he dislodges that top piece of padding,
Mhm.
and it kind of puts a backspin on the ball, and the ball is going back.
Yeah.
When he hits it, it goes like a foot over to the left. I think it had a chance to go over on its own, but we'll never know. I don't like the rule. I get it, but I don't like they made the correct call.
Yeah.
But I don't like. To me, if it doesn't hit the ground, goes over the wall, why are we rewarding the outfielder for being incompetent? So yeah, it's what you're doing. I mean, it's just
Well, I don't know. I don't know about incompetent, Jack. I think it's a
hey,
little harsh. I mean, the bottom line is he went
I'm
up for the
sorry.
ball, went over his glove, bounced off his glove on the way back. You know,
He's
but
from San Diego, and I think he should have. Maybe he's a Dodger. Maybe he grew up as a Dodger fan. That happens to a lot of people in San Diego. But I just was like, come on,
yeah.
jeez.
Well, I
I
think it would
think
have been a good moment for Kim because he's not having a great year.
no, he's not.
Not like he's been. His defense has been here and there. Base running is probably more of an issue with me. Some of the, like you said, the baseball IQ. But bottom line is he's still like about the number 7 shortstop in the major leagues as far as his WAR. And you know, there's a lot worse things you can ask for in your 8 hole. I mean, that's 220, an occasional pop, some great speed, still stolen 20 bases, I believe by then. If it's the worst of our troubles, that we're doing pretty good, which we are.
Like I said, the base running I don't think's ever going to improve. I mean, he's been like that since day
Yeah,
one. I mean, just for whatever reason, he just seems to make it
he's just
just.
a little too aggressive.
He's too
Yeah,
aggressive at the wrong time. I
right,
mean,
right.
again, I'll say it for the 50th time. He probably got away with it in the Korean League because he's super talented.
Yeah,
But in the major leagues, they throw a little harder. They play, they're stronger. Probably, I don't know. It just seems that the level of talent is better in Major League Baseball than is Korean. I mean, that some compare it to Double A baseball. I don't think it's that bad, maybe,
yeah.
but anyway, he's just got. But again, I like Hassan Kim. So when he does well, when he makes mistakes, I just cringe because I like him.
Yeah.
You want to see him succeed, but he's making it easier for the Padres in the offseason not to give him a huge extension.
Well, they already got a 7 million mutual option, and that obviously means that both parties agree. I I've listened to quite a few experts on this one, and most of the experts say that he can get more than 7 million if he were to opt out of that contract. He could get more than 7 million. So
I'm sure he could.
yeah. Again, number 7 and for shortstop, there's a whole lot worse you can do. And you look at a lot of the other teams, and they're picking guys like Nick Ahmed, and that are on the side of being a good player, and their shortstop. The American League is full of them. Yeah, American League a ton of shortstops, but National League too much.
Yeah. Do you have a microphone in your headphones?
No,
No,
right
because
here.
I'm getting the feedback now
No.
when you're talking. But anyway, yeah, I mean it's going to be one of those things in the offseason. They have to decide what they want to do. It's not like they couldn't find a shortstop on the team to replace him, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. I think it's a lot depends on how they finish up this year. And again, they're just playing so well right now without Tatis. And to me, that's a big deal. You had Musgrove come back, and he looked good. I mean, that would be huge if Musgrove could come back and give us quality innings. I'm not expecting 7 innings a game, but if he can give us 5 or 6 innings a game with all our young pitchers, I think that's a big deal.
Well, I agree. You got Joe Musgrove a lot than I thought he was going to be honest. He had struggled up to this point before he got injured. His ERA is in the 5s or 6s. He went out there, in my mind, for 4 innings, and he dominated.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's the Pirates, and the Pirates struggle to hit, but still, I mean, it's just and Perez, I was like, when I saw, okay, I'll take him.
Uh-huh.
Hungslaw says Tatis could play shortstop next year. I'd rather keep him in the outfield. I know a lot of people want him back at short, but I think he's a better outfielder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at Odell Cruz, and to me, I think Tatis is a better shortstop than Cruz, but I just don't see that the Pirates keeping him at short because he's.
Well, it all depends. Just like the Padres, do you have somebody else that can? So,
Yeah.
Shortstop's just a tough position.
It is.
And you get these athletic guys, and sometimes they struggle with the throwing. They can get to everything, but they sometimes have trouble with the throws. We remember Tatis when he broke in; he was same way. He could grab anything, but he couldn't throw it to first.
Well, they make the great plays, but they don't make the routine plays, because you had that one play where Cruz was at second base. The pitcher got the ball, turned it through to Cruz, and he's 6'7", and he popped right out of his glove and kept the inning alive for us. I'm like going, well, thank you, Cruz. Thank you. I mean, it was just again. But then they said something that Dela Cruz of Cincinnati has more errors than Odell Cruz. I'm like going, really?
Yeah.
Really? I go, is it O'Neill Cruz? What am I calling it? I'm having. Anyway, Cruz. Yeah. But there's too many Cruzes out there. But to me, if your shortstop's in the mid 20s, airs with like 50 games left to go, that's not a good shortstop. That to me is because you want your shortstop. They have to make, especially the routine plays. They have to make them.
Yeah.
But we shall see with shortstop. Like I said, Perez has come over and pitched fantastic. He's pitched fantastic. That was a good trade so far for the Padres. King still looks good. I was hoping he could go another inning, but that bat with what's their first baseman's name? I'm drawing a blank on his first baseman's name. Pittsburgh. He must have fouled off like.
You talking about Berger or Tellez?
Tellez.
Yeah.
He must have fouled off like 10 pitches to get the pitch count up into the 90s, so they couldn't bring him back for the other inning. But yeah, and the Dodgers lost today.
Yeah.
I started watching that game in the 8th inning, and I'm like, oh, come on, Brewers.
Yeah.
And twice the pitcher Hudson kicked the ball with his foot instead of letting it go through.
Yeah.
And I swear he wasn't saving. He didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
the Dodger defense is pretty bad.
Well,
They're
this reaction is always tough for a pitcher. You know, I mean, how many times have you seen a guy try to grab something that he shouldn't try to grab?
no, he hit his off his
Yeah.
foot,
Right.
and he did it twice, and both times it kept the inning alive. They scored 2 runs off him kicking the ball off his foot.
Well, good news for the Padres.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing. The Dodgers aren't good. They're not solid defensively. They're just not. They're shaky. And it's good to see them lose. It's good to see the Brewers come back and win the last 2. 2 games out.
2 games out of everything.
Yeah.
Looking at the standings, I don't want to say I was totally surprised, but to see that the Padres are 2 games out of the best record in the National League, because the Dodgers are the best record now.
Yeah.
So you look at the 5 playoff teams as they stand right now. You've got the 3 division leaders, and you got the Padres and the Diamondbacks, and all 5 of them are within 2. That's just amazing at this time of the year.
Yeah, it is crazy, and lost train of my thought because Oz said, "But Jack, I thought they were the most complete team in the National League." Nope. Now they are getting a couple players. They're going to get Muncy back here soon, and getting Betts back is a big deal. I like Betts.
I think the thing is, though, is when you look at all the playoff teams, I mean, just, because I'm kind of getting in that mode now. That obviously, I'm aiming for the NL West. But when you look at all the teams and you say, who's best positioned to make the 40-yard dash? The Padres are looking pretty good. Because you got the Dodgers have got injury problems, and they're kind of scratching through it. But their bullpen is explosive. The Diamondbacks are getting stronger, so obviously they're having the same kind of run that the Padres are having. The Brewers are just out hitting everybody. Well, sort of the Diamondbacks for that matter. The Phillies are scuffling.
Yeah, they're struggling right now.
And so you sit there and you kind of get into the mind meld of Preller. It's like, you know what? I've got Musgrove coming back. I got, the 3 guys that have been doing the yeoman's work, and what a evolution for the Padres with Perez. But they got the strongest bullpen in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
I give them better than a marginal chance of coming out on top of everybody.
I think the only thing that's frustrating is I don't know if I read this correctly or not, but they said this is the best stretch the Padres have ever had.
Ever.
And I'm like going, okay, best stretch we've ever had, and we literally cannot shake the Diamondbacks.
No.
It's like you think we'd be like 4 or 5 games above the Diamondbacks, but the Diamondbacks just won't lose. Oz asks, serious question, as a longtime Padres fan, do you think our team is the best team built to possibly win it all? I wouldn't say it's the best team they've ever had. I'd still say the 98 team, but I think the way the way baseball is right now, yes, because there's not a team like the Yankees of 98, the Tigers of 84. There's really not that team, because it looked like the Phillies were going to be that team, and they've come back down to earth. There's really not a team I look at, okay, we can't beat them. Because I know in 98, I kept saying, God, I hope someone beats the Yankees before they get to the World Series, because I thought we'd struggle against them.
Yeah, so the 98 team is a good comparison. The 90s are pretty strong too. Here's the thing that I think that makes this team the better team. I think that the 98 team had the best offense the Padres might ever have. I thought last year with Soto that they were going to break that, but that proved wrong. Come on, 98, even Christmas, man. You had an all-star lineup. Now, Tony Gwynn, and you had Caminiti and Finley and Greg Vaughn and Ricky Anderson.
And Ricky.
Yeah.
You just have to say Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky. Yeah. But the depth of the pitching staff on this team is better. The big thing is they don't have Kevin Brown.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big difference. Now, if Darvish was healthy, or if he's still going to come back, you know what? I take Darvish, Musgrove, Cease with King as the fourth starter. I got no problems putting them against anybody. And that bullpen is so long and so deep. I don't think you hesitate to pull it. It is having the first one.
The bullpen is amazing.
Yeah,
The starting pitching is really good. The bullpen is amazing. I mean, you look at and you had Kevin. I don't know if you saw the thing with Kevin Acee and Schilt, where he goes, "You're kind of using your closer guys too much," and he goes, "Well, we only had a 3-run lead." He goes, "Yeah, I'd like to have a 5-run lead."
Yeah.
He goes, "But we don't have it." I mean, again, it's so close. You have to keep pace. I get what AC was trying to say, but
I think they just a little sensitive about the arms. Yeah, come on. If a guy's going 3 or 4 days straight, I get it. But you know what? These guys are pitching an inning at a time. They get warmed up. They pitch an inning. Sometimes they get out with 12 pitches. These guys are still relatively young guys. I just don't see what the big deal is. And to your point, you're right. Having a game like yesterday is very beneficial, and that's just it with the bullpen. You only need one of those games every 4th game. That's all you need. So they got one yesterday.
and then they had the next day off, and they had the next day off.
They got today off. So, you get to Friday, you may have guys in the bullpen going, "Hey, Schilt, can you put me in tonight? I'm a little rusty."
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's also like a lot of people are saying on Twitter. It's not like we're in a 10-game losing streak. What are you asking?
Exactly.
It's like he had nothing. It's like because AC likes to be negative from time to time.
Yeah.
It's like he had nothing negative to say, and he's like going, yeah, I'll just throw it out there that you're using your really and Schilt was like, and I give Schilt credit because I probably would have said,
well, his second answer
what the hell are you talking about?
His second answer to the same question wasn't quite as good.
Yeah.
Because he basically said, "I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm answering your question, and you're digging deeper. I got nothing more for you." It was pretty good. I listened to it, and he was irritated.
Yeah, he was definitely irritated, but he handled. Could you imagine Billy Martin fielding that question, or Dick Williams, or Jim Leland answering that question? It would have been like it would have been over for Kevin Acee. He'd have been torn
and I've
apart.
said it a few times. Mike Schilt has won me over completely. I was a little bit on the fence post for some of the comments he was making about this is a roller coaster, and kind of defending his guys a little bit too much, in my opinion, at the beginning when they were doing the roller coaster, whether he liked it or not. But he has been very consistent, and he's right there with Bochy as far as handling his starting lineup and his bullpen. I very rarely disagree with what he's doing. There's always something inside of us Monday morning quarterback to say, I wish he would have pitched another inning. I wish he would have brought this guy in after the inning, stuff like that. But in the moment, he's usually right on what I'm thinking. Get him out of there. He's on his way out. So
yeah. Now he's
obviously 19-3 in the last 22. He's doing something right.
Yeah, they're. I can't completely. With what's his I'm drawing a blank on his Giants' new manager,
Bob Melvin.
Bob Melvin.
Yeah.
I like Bob, but there were a lot of times I was like, "What are we doing here, Bob? What are we doing?" Yeah. And now Giant fans are starting to say that they're saying Kapler was better than Melvin, and I don't know. But I like Gabe Kapler. I don't know why they got rid of him, but Melvin, there's something about Melvin where he's just, I don't know. I mean, because Schultz is not an excitable guy.
Yeah.
But he's got a great baseball mind. It's again, I can't question his moves.
It comes down to fit though, Jack. I mean, obviously Bob Melvin had a great run in Oakland, and they loved him there. Came to San Diego, and there was a little bit of a rub, and we don't know what that is, but I got the feeling it was a Preller Melvin disagreement on the way things could be done. Mike Schill, St. Louis, probably one of the most respected organizations, and they had a falling out with him. But
Yeah.
yet he comes over here and he's wonderful. So sometimes it's just an organizational thing. Maybe it's the GM, it's the players, maybe it's the clubhouse. For all we know, Bob Miller was the problem with the clubhouse. He couldn't contain it. And a lot of people said that when they kind of let Hader step on him. And it's
Yeah.
like, wow, who's the manager here? Because that's what I was thinking. Now you can't make a guy pitch. They were saying this about Crochet, and there's some guy on MLB that said exactly what I was thinking. Oh, you can't pitch more than 3 innings now? Tell you what, we're going to shut you down for a year.
Yeah.
Right? I
Especially,
would.
especially if I'm the White Sox,
Yeah.
you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Shut them down. Say, okay, we're going to save your arm.
Yeah.
Now there
I'll get
could be
somebody that's going to try and pitch 6
there
innings.
might be a grievance from the players union. I'm sure there'd be something going on. But what do you have to lose? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I know Hader was either it was yesterday or the day before went 2 innings and got the win.
Yeah.
I said, huh.
Well,
if you could only done that a couple times last year, we would have been in the playoffs. And who knows what happens when you make the playoffs. But
we're a better team because we got rid of him.
We are a better team
We
because
are.
again,
If Hader's here this year, Suarez is not the closer.
no.
We probably don't go get Tanner Scott. I mean, sometimes you got to look in the rearview mirror and say, good things happen because of this. A lot has been mentioned about the same thing about the Soto trade. Do you think Preller wanted to trade away one of the best ball players of the generation? No. What he got out of it and what the Padres, it's been a win-win. The Yankees got a great player, no doubt about it. Instrumental in what they're doing. But you look at the reservoir of people we got back, that's the difference in this team.
Yeah. Well, because we wouldn't have any pitching.
Yeah. It's all linked to the King and Iggy, and then you got Vasquez, and then you got the trading capability to go get Cease. It was just a lot of that. So, yeah. Michael says his best team since 2010. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah. And again, the proof's going to be in the pudding because you can be a really good team, but if you don't make the playoffs, then so what?
Yeah. Because again, last year, Padres were a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And didn't make the playoffs.
Right. And, there's a lot of it. We've said it a lot. The Padres over 50 years have only had, I think, 5 or 6 teams over 500. So,
which is
not
great. Which is not great.
Michael, a lifetime Padres fan, but it's not hard to call a team the best team in Padre history when you've got the history we've got.
Yeah,
we can't change it.
Especially if Tatis comes back hitting. And Peralta's done a good job taking his place, but he's no Tatis. I mean, of course, who is? But
but look what that does for you, Jack. You've said it many times. You got when Tatis comes back, you've got Solano and Peralta as your right aid lefty coming off the bench.
Yeah,
you've got Tyler Wade with great speed. You've got pieces that you can move around in a situation that calls for it. And in the playoff, depth does mean something. A lot of people
does.
you don't need to be deep. You just play your starting 9 and your 3 pitchers. Not today. No, you need situational guys.
Exactly. Because it's a long season, and even in the playoffs, people get hurt. And if you don't have you look at back in the 1984, the Padres lost McReynolds in the Cubs series. Who'd they have backing him up? Bobby Brown. Was it Bobby Brown? And nothing against Bobby Brown, but he was no Kevin McReynolds.
Yeah. And that was you lost Clevenger and Lamette.
Yeah. I mean that's what kept us from right the last week of the season.
Yeah, our very easily our number 2 and 3 pitchers. Yeah.
But It is. So I'm excited. Of course, we're going to Colorado, and I just gotta hate playing Colorado. But
Well, we're going to take care of business time.
they rolled
Yeah.
over against the D-back. So hopefully, we were able to.
Yeah, think it's just psychological more than anything. The bottom line is, I will say that Gomber has always been a thorn in our side, and he's not pitching this series. I mean, that's just an individual pitcher. Uh, Charlie Blackman's just getting older now. I mean, he used to be at least one or two home runs every time we went there. But they got to get past it. They got to
Well,
they got to.
against Char-
This
what-
is the last 3 games of their easy part of the schedule, because when you start looking at their schedule afterwards, they're coming home against Minnesota for 3, and the Mets for 4. Then they go to St. Louis for 4 and Tampa Bay for 3.
yeah, that's not
So
easy.
that's not easy. No, that's extremely difficult.
But you have to keep plugging along. You have to keep
Yeah.
moving.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
way they're again, I don't expect them to lose 3. Were they 18 and
19-3.
19
Yeah,
and
I
3?
don't expect to go 19-3 the next 22 games.
Maybe 18 and 4. But no, but if you like you said, I've always said, you keep winning the series. That's all you have to do. Keep winning the series. It's always important to win that first game of the series, I think, because that takes a little pressure off you. Okay, it's like, you lose the first one, you go, okay, we can't lose the next one. You start it's got to be in your head. But I just think they're just playing so well right now. And Jackson Merrill,
Yeah.
I swear to God, I know he doesn't care. I know and I love that fact he doesn't care, and he says he doesn't care, and he kind of gives that look like, or I've said this like 35 times, I don't care, but he is the rookie of the year. Skis is a good pitcher. He's a great pitcher, but he's had 15 games, right? 15 games.
He's very close to being the MVP of the Padres.
Right.
I just happened to look at the stats just before we got on, Jack, and really, you still make the case for Profar, but it's become smaller.
Well, Profar slowed down a little bit.
Well, but the bottom line is they both had, I don't know, 10, 15 game stretches where they really, I don't want to say carried, because nobody has carried this team this year. Nobody. That's what makes this team so good, because we haven't had to have 7 home runs in 10 games by Machado, or somebody hitting 450 for the month of August or something like that. But Merrill had about a week stretch where he just was unbelievable. Profar at the beginning of the year had a 10-game stretch where every time he came up, before he was becoming the human pin cushion.
Eight times at 9 games he's been hit by a pitch.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's actually laughing at him now because they're hitting him in the feet at least, but still.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I don't want to take a pitch off the foot.
Oh no,
there's not a lot of protection in those cleats.
No, nothing feels good.
No,
but again, I still keep going back to the point, Jack, that when you look at the Padres stats as a team, it's amazing how 1 through 9 for the most part is just solid. It's really not any 2 or 3 people. They're just dazzling. Nobody's hitting. In fact, Profar's got the most home runs at 19. We didn't have a guy with 20 home runs yet. We got a bunch of guys with 50 to 70 RBIs. We got stolen bases, and the same thing with the pitching. Like, nobody's running a Cy Young campaign right now. It's just it's more of a team than any team we've ever had. Because even you go back, you're talking earlier, even you go back to the '98 team, it was those 4 or 5 guys were simply amazing. I mean, trying to go through Gwynn, Finley, Caminiti, and Greg Vaughn was.
And you had Wally Joyner too, who was solid.
Well, I'm just talking those 4 guys right there. I mean,
yeah.
Vaughn hits 50 home runs, Caminiti in Mexico, and I mean, it was just an amazing team to watch.
And Ricky, can't forget Ricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's how because you look at like you're saying, the Padre lineup. It's like if I look at certain lineups, okay, I got to get by Otani. I get by Otani. Okay, Betts. Their top three hitters,
Yeah.
Otani, Betts, and Freeman, are pretty damn solid. And then Lutz is starting to hit. But other than that, you look and you go, oh, I forgot. Hernandez is doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know how I keep forgetting he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
Don't hate me. I have a Dodger.
Yeah, they're a little bit like last year's Padres, a little bit. I think they're a little stronger than that down at the bottom. And
But,
again, you said before, Jack, and you're right. Muncie's coming back, and he's a big guy. So that puts him at 6, and that's most lineups.
but he also is not very. He's not solid. He's just okay defensively. He makes a lot of. He's just not a great defensive player, and I think that's where we have the edge over the Dodgers. Is we're a good defensive team. I mean, we're solid. You look at that play Jackson Merrill made to end the game on was it Monday?
Yeah,
I mean that was a great play.
Well, and in our honest opinion, we think we have the best defensive third baseman with Machado.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
I think we've done incredibly well considering how many different guys we played at first base, but we've been pretty solid over there. But Bogarts and Kim have been a little shaky.
But he made that play the other night.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's no chance.
Yeah.
And he just gave it a little extra oomph.
Yeah.
And I go, wow. And I think
it was the strongest part of our team. Would you agree? I think they're above average, but I don't think they're awesome.
What, defensively?
Yeah.
I think with Tatis I think when you have put Tatis in there, because I think Profar's decent.
No, I'm talking about second and short, bud.
Just second and short. Oh, second and short. Yeah.
Outfield, I got no problem.
No, again, I say your best defensive second baseman is playing first. But then if you take him off first base, then your best first baseman is playing second. If you had Cronenworth at second, that's why I said the offseason, I think the most important thing is getting a first baseman that's a first baseman.
Well, but I think also Arias has made some good strides over there. He looked a little uncomfortable when he first started playing over there, and I think he's done a pretty good job over there. He's stretching a lot better. He's just not a very big guy.
No,
so, he's not your natural.
Well,
baseman, but
they gave him the air, that second air, I think, with Kim, and I said, "What's his air? He's not tall enough."
Yeah,
I mean, it was he had all day to throw it.
Eric does. You're 5'8" and you should be 6'2". Yeah,
it's like Don Orsello always says. He goes, "That's a high throw, but he's a tall guy." So, but you can't say that about Arias. He's he's 5'10", 5'9", maybe.
Yeah, if that. Maybe. Yeah.
And I give him credit.
No doubt about
torn ligaments in his thumb. He's starting to hit again. So,
well, the good thing is you don't depend on his power. He's I'm going to say it. He's a punching juice. Every once in a while he'll drive one to a gap, but he's not
for you kids playing at home. That just means he's not a power hitter. He just singles hitter.
Yeah, singles hitter.
Because punching juice. When was the last time someone used punching juice? Yeah,
and he showed the speed. He stole a couple of bases for us.
Yeah, he did.
Got himself on some good. Again, I keep looking at this lineup, and I know we've said it before. I love this lineup. I like it more when Higgy's catching, because Higgy's been a pretty good ninth hitter. And I was actually glad, me and you were texting the other day, that they gave Tyler Wade to start as short.
Yeah.
And he performed well. I know he booted one, but got a hit, played well otherwise. I think Kim needed some time off. And again, I think that's Mike Schilt being a good manager.
Yeah, it's a long season, and
a day off before a day off is always, I think, good.
Yeah, he even gave Manny a day off on Monday. I'm like, really? We're giving Manny a day off?
Yeah, total day off.
Oz says, where would you put Tatis in the lineup when he comes back? I would lead him off.
No.
And put Arias at second. I would do. I just think that's what I would do. That's me.
Yeah. I definitely would put him at second. It's hitting second.
Yeah, I like.
There's no way. I have never liked Tatis leading off. He's got way too much going on. The big thing about Tatis, wherever you hit, he cannot be behind somebody slow. So the problem I have is that you have Campy batting ninth, or even Higgy, although Higgy's faster for a catcher. But if you get Campy hitting ninth and he's batting first, he's gonna turn a triple into a single.
That is true. I just like the fact that when he was leading off and he was hitting, he'd start the game with a home run. You'd be like, yes, we got to run. Yes. And
But
I think it sets
yeah,
the tone for the game. But I do hear you on the running part because there's nobody slower than Campy. I can barely move now, but I could probably beat him in a foot
yeah.
race.
But you know me though too, Jack. I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. I like the left right kind of lineup. And in these days with the you have to pick the three batters. I think that's really important. You know, so if you start off with a rise and then well, Oz, I think you're getting ahead of it, but I'm going to predict. I mark this day, August 15th of 2024. I am predicting that Jackson Merrill will be our leadoff hitter next year.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, you go Rise, you go Tatis, you go Profar, you go Machado, you put Cronenworth or excuse me, Merrill, then you go either Cronenworth or Bogarts. Um, I'm a big believer in that. I think that you got to have somebody with some speed, and it's a good problem to have. You know, the length of this lineup to me is the top seven is tough because somebody's got to hit seven.
Well, there's a lot of Padre Twitters are saying, "Hey, they should move Merrill up, move Merrill up." I go, no, because that helps your bottom of the lineup.
Yeah,
Having Merrill, and he seems he's comfortable there. And I say for this, for this season, again, next season, I would not be surprised to see him hitting one first or third next season.
yeah.
But right now, just leave him where he's at. I think he's perfect where he's at. Bogarts is hitting, but he's not hitting with power yet. Hopefully, he can find his home run stroke. But yeah, it's a luxury. Okay, where are we going to put Tatis when he comes back? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I
that's
think
a luxury.
righty is what's bothering me with Machado and Bogart. It's nothing against them. Obviously, they're both great hitters, but I think that it would be an advantage to stick a lefty in between them.
My biggest problem with them hitting back to back is they're two double play guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how the stats in front of me, but it seems like they both hit into a lot of double plays.
For all the clutch hits that Manny has every year, he hits still a lot of double plays.
Yeah, it's just like that's why I'm always with the runner when they had runners at first and third, and Chrono. I go send him because how many times does a catcher throw down with a runner at third? I go, and then Manny, what did Manny do? Hit no double play. I'm like, I told you to send him. So I guess I do questions Schilt sometimes.
Well, Hungsloff puts one up there, but I'm going to disagree with you because you're not going to put Manny down at fifth.
Arise, Profar, Tatis, Jake, Manny, Bogarts, Merrill, Higgy, Kim. I've been saying I would put Kim in the ninth spot for a long time because that would solve your speed problem.
I think you're pretty close, Hungsloff. I really do, but I just don't see Manny hitting fifth. Yeah,
Manny's a team guy, but he's not going to go down to fifth.
No, and quite honestly, he should want Manny to have his 4 or 5 bats.
Yeah,
you stick him down there. That's not a good thing. And all back to 7, just getting too far away now. I mean, he's your second or third best hitter this year. That's a long way to put a guy down when he's having that much success.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a luxury, and plus when Tatis comes back, he's probably not going to play every day.
Yeah, I think Jake is going to be the guy that's going to go down to 7. I mean, I love Jake. He, for a long time he was one of my favorite players. I still like him. He's regressed a little bit the last couple of years. He's still very, very good, but on this team right now, he's the guy that's going down to number 7. In my mind, he's got a lot of opportunities in the 3-hole this year. He should have 100 RBIs right now. I mean, he really should.
But he's had those where was it June where or was it July where he just struggled, and it seems like August he's picked it back up again. But I agree with you. I would have no problem with him going down to 7th.
Yeah.
Hitting back. But then you have the left, Jackson Merrill and Cronenworth.
Yeah. Well,
And then with
it's a good problem to have.
yeah.
We can sit here and debate for the rest of the show, and the bottom line is there's a lot of good answers, and a lot of it has to do with who's hot, who's not. I think you always bring up a good point, though, Jack. You don't want to just get into the mode where you put everybody right up in the front. I think there is something to be said about having kind of a solid lineup where guys can kind of get comfortable. I think it's really good that you have a 7 and an 8 that can actually hit.
Well, like
And I
you
really,
set up.
like you, with me at his old car, even when he wasn't hitting, hitting him ninth makes sense because, like, well, if he does get on, at least he's not clogging up the bases.
Yeah, he's fast. But like you've said all season, last year's team, okay, you get like 5 or 6 guys get hit, and then after that it was like, all right, okay, can we wait? Can't wait till the next inning because they're not going to score.
Oh, first,
This.
okay, maybe in the third we'll get to our
I mean, how many times have you heard Don Orsello or Mud say it's the bottom of the lineup that's scoring all the runs tonight? It's the bottom of the lineup doing all the damage,
starting a lot
and
of things.
and that's how you look at the Reds back in their glory day, and it's having those guys at the bottom of the lineup that could hit
Yeah.
and be productive. That win you games. It's a 9-inning game for a reason. You have to be able to score in every inning.
So switch gears to the pitching. I was a little bit, I don't want to say surprised, but taken back that they sent Vasquez down. I get it. It's the same thing with the bullpen. You're rotating guys, bringing up fresh arms, things like that. But I thought he was really becoming one of our better starters this year. And for all I know, it's an innings thing. Maybe because they're trying to, kind of settle it down. I know Schultz got asked about a possible 6-man rotation. He didn't. He did a good manager thing. He didn't define it. Obviously, opponents listen to your show, like, what are you going to do and how are you going to handle it? And gave very general answers, but I could almost sense that he's not really for it. I think it's
It did
expecting
sound that
guys
way.
like Cease and Musgrove and some of the more veteran Perez even probably they don't want to go that long in between starts. You get rusty.
Yeah.
I think the evidence was Cease had just a clunker of an outing. I think a lot of that's because that one inning and then now he picked on days after that, but I just think he was out of sorts and
Well,
guys.
I think it hurts a guy like Waldron too. I think they have to.
Yeah.
So when you have a specialty pitch, I think you have to keep pitching.
Yeah.
But I like
again, just like our lineup, it's a great problem to have 7 starters.
Yeah, I would say, but before they made all the moves at the trading deadline, I was saying, okay, when Musgrove comes back, put Vasquez in the bullpen for an inning or two, but now it's like, okay, where would you put him?
Well, that's where guys like Deshaun Reynolds, Logan Gillespie for a while, Jacob, that's that rotation. They're going to do that the rest of the year because they're just going to keep fresh arms. I noticed Huncloth is asking a question for Jack and putting that one up. The problem with Huncloth with picking up guys that are designated free agents is the playoff roster. You can't use them. So I don't think the Padres are in the situation where there's going to be anybody that they're going to want or need to take a spot because they got a pretty full 26 right now. I don't see them, picking up anybody like that, especially because they can't use them in the playoffs. Somebody else mentioned
the key
like
is
Kirby Yates. Well, Kirby Yates came clear. That'd be great, but you wouldn't be able to use them in the playoffs.
But you got to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, but they're on a pretty good path right now. I'm not counting anything.
No.
But they're on a pretty good path right now, and I think they've done quite a bit to get need to. I just don't know if there's anything out there that's going to be DFA that make that big of a difference. With them. And again, even a Kirby Yates, if he was available, that's a great pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but he's gone after this year. You don't get to keep him, and you don't get him in the playoffs. I
Yeah.
just yeah.
To me, I'm okay with one more arm in the bull. If it meant, but right now, again, we still got to find a spot for Vasquez. I mean, he'll probably come back up. I maybe give, but King. Well, King said this is what King was it Mud said. What King said. He goes, "Look, stop asking me the question. I feel great.
Yeah,
I would say it if I wasn't feeling right. I would say it." He
right.
goes, "But I feel great." So there's no reason to stop him from pitching. It's just
Well, and again, that's a, we can have this podcast and we can talk about our opinions and what we think, but we're not in the clubhouse, and we're definitely not Mike Schill. And Mike Schill, I am confident. He has said it many times. It's all about communication. I talk to my players every day. I want to know how they know that I want them to know how they feel. So I don't think there's anything hidden in that, and you're definitely not going to hear a guy say, "Yeah, my right arm is killing me right now," or I'm getting tired. There's too much competitor in them, and no, you have to just not going to leak that kind of information.
and
So
I think you
you
got a
know,
guy like Musgrove. Last season he shut it down because they were struggling. Odds are they weren't going to make the playoffs this year. Who wouldn't want to be part of this? You got to
yeah,
think that Tatis is just going, I want to play, I want to play, I want to
yeah,
play. Who doesn't want to be on a team that's winning?
yeah.
Who doesn't want to be out there when your team is winning? You want to be out there.
Well, and I want them back healthy. So
Yeah.
I'm actually glad, not knowing the extent or what he's feeling right now. I'm actually glad Tatis is not pushing.
Well,
I want him this year, but I want him for years to come. And I don't want him to do anything like that. And I say the same thing with Musgrove. Hey, he waited. It's not coming back now, so now he can accomplish. Where you just
well, they said AC said Tatis will not be fully healthy till spring training,
yeah
and I said, well, I go, but man, if he wants to, I think if he wants to come back, but then you just, maybe DH him once in a while, give him days off once in a while. You don't have to play him because they're playing well without him.
yeah.
But they could be better with him, obviously.
If he's
So
healthy, though, Jack. I mean,
if he's healthy,
it really is. If he's healthy, he's
yeah.
got to be.
Well, again, I don't know, but
Yeah,
if he's say 80% and he wants to come back, I bring him back.
What's the hate with Jankowski, man? Come on, Jankowski.
But they're saying that you didn't want to bring any players back.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm just saying, man. Come on, Jankowski. Come on.
Okay,
That's
if you
right there.
The problem is if you bring him back, then you're going to have to cut. I mean, obviously, if Tatis comes back, Bryce Johnson is gone, right?
Yeah.
So because I mean,
But now past that,
yeah, then you go if you bring Janikowski in, well, now you got to cut Wade, and Wade can play the outfield. Wade can play the infield. I like Janikowski.
I do too.
The guy I remember watching his rookie year. I was up at National Stadium, and I said, "Oh my God, this guy's fast."
Yeah.
It was a rookie, and it's like, "Oh my God." He never really became that player, but I think he's a good guy to have on the team.
I'm going to go old school on you, Jack. You'll probably remember this guy. Remember the Oakland A's had a guy named Herb Washington.
Yeah, designated runner.
Pinch run. That's all he did.
Yeah.
For a whole year.
Yeah. That was Chuck Finley.
That would be what I would use Janikowski. Again, don't want him this year because the bottom line is you can't use him in the playoffs. But yeah, if you're in the playoffs, we got Tyler Wade.
He's a good defensive outfielder.
Yeah, if you had Janikowski, he's that pinch runner, kind of like we're using Wade for. Pinch runner, play the field a couple innings. Boom. That's your guy.
Because he doesn't – I mean, he's better defensively than Peralta, but Peralta's a much better hitter than Janikowski.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. Again, you're getting to the point now that's how deep this team is. It's like, all right, who are we going to cut to bring this guy in? And they're already starting to talk about, I mean, like you look at the pitchers, we still got Wandy out there who I think can just stay on the IL. And then you have, what's his name? The rookie, the Rule 5 guy, Kolek.
Kolek, yeah.
I like Kolek, but I think he hurt his back.
We haven't. Well, I don't think we're going to see him the rest of the year. I
Yeah.
could be
So
wrong, but
yeah. So it's these guys are just like, okay, because there's no room for them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
there's
great
just
problem
no.
to have because in the
Yeah.
years past, we've always like, well, who can we bring up? We were
Yeah.
talking about at the beginning of this year. Let's be honest. We're talking about, well, who's going to be the fourth and fifth outfielders?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the fifth pitcher? Who's our 4, 5, and 6 guys in the bullpen? And here we are in middle of August, and we're talking about who we can't afford to bring in anymore because we've
Right.
got great players that we're going to have to cut. I
Yeah.
agree with you. When Tatis comes back, Bryce Johnson, sorry, see you later. I think that's the easy call. And that's no offense to Bryce Johnson. I think he's done an admirable job, but obviously he's the 26th guy.
Yeah.
But and the
He's
bullpen's a
he's
little
gone
weak
as far as his
because the
talent will take
bullpen
him.
you can just send down to Double A and bring a guy up for 10 days and switch him around, and they've already done that. But yeah, when Darvish comes back, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't
If
know.
Darvish comes back,
Again, they say he's pitching. He's throwing to live pitching on his
yeah,
own. But again, it's been what 2, 3 months since he's been out,
a couple months.
and you got to think. That, I mean, I don't know completely what why. I mean, you've heard rumors, but you got to be thinking if he wants to come back again. This is if I mean, how often do you get to pitch for a team that could
Yeah.
win it all? So I,
Look, it's obviously very personal to him because I always look at Joe Darvish as being a very good teammate, a team guy.
oh yeah,
He obviously needed to be where he's at, and
yeah,
look for what it's worth. You know, because obviously his heart is someplace else, and um, we've both been through enough personal tragedies in our long lives that when something happens on a personal level, your last thought
it's
is,
hard to
oh,
concentrate on
yeah,
anything else.
yeah, I'm going to go to the ballpark and play a fun game. Yeah, that ain't going to
Yeah,
happen. So, um, Michael says that we should bench Kim. We've been through this a little bit, Michael, but you can't. That's your starting shortstop. We don't have a regular shortstop.
you can give him days off
You give him a
like
blow.
Schilt has done, and which I think is good because again, it's a long season. Your mind, again, to me, there's something. Either he's stressing, he's pressing,
He smoked more
he's
cigarettes.
yeah, maybe that's what he needs to do because he's just not the Kim we saw last season.
I think he's pressing.
Yeah,
Your teammates can be as good and conciliatory as you want, but you actually said it in what you're talking about, wanting to be a part of this, Jack. I think it's the same way when you're the one or two guys that are struggling, and you're like, everybody else is playing so good, I'm not, you know. And I think that can be very pressing. You can try and get it out of your mind. You see guys long slump for the same reason, because they start thinking, I gotta get a hit, I gotta hit a home run, I gotta do something. And it's the worst thing you can do. They had Hanzo, one of my favorite all-time Padres. Loved him when they got rid of him, and he's a great hitter for MLB. Obviously, very much a Padre honk. You can tell just by the way he talks about the Padres. But they showed him in a recliner, and my other favorite, Harold was sitting in the other chair. He was,
oh,
had
Harold
the
Reynolds.
recliner kicked back and everything. And his point was is this is how they're just relaxed. They're sitting back in a recliner. They don't have another thought in the world. They're just going to go out and get ahead. And I played enough sports to know that's true. If you're edgy, if you're off your game or anything, then yeah, you're not relaxed. You're trying to force things. For me as a golfer, if I'm off and I start thinking about my swing, oh, where's my left foot? Oh, where's my right arm? Am I following through? That when you're playing well, you're going up and saying, "We're on the green. Do I want to hit this ball?"
It's a
Yeah,
beach
yeah.
ball.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's the same thing as if you talk about baseball. It's as big as a beach ball, and when you're off, it looks like a marble. So
Hung Sloth says he should be leadoff. He did do well at leadoff, but I think the problem now is The team is doing so well. Let's not mess with what's working.
Well, and I think he's a good 9-hitter. For
Yeah,
what we talked about before, if he gets on, he's got great speed. I think he just needs to have a little talking to about his wisdom of making you never
run.
you never make the third out at third base. You never make
Yeah.
the first or third out at third base.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, we should start talking about the next series, the two series come up. We have the Rockies for 3, and we have the Twins for 3, right?
That's correct. Coming to San Diego. Yeah. A little short road trip. 3-game road trip.
Yeah, we're in. I guess it's not too far, but any kind of travel this late in the season.
Well, it's just kind of weird. Got back from Pittsburgh and Miami, Pittsburgh, and now they're going to. Yeah.
I did like what Mark said. He goes, I'm not even packing. I'm just wearing. He goes, I didn't unpack. I'm just having the same clothes I had last week. And Don goes, oh, that's great for all of us.
Well, we got some folks that have watched the show, and they're looking at. We got 6-0 right off.
Yeah, Hogs lost 6-0. Oz 6-0, but Oz, let's be fair. She had the Padres. She had the Padres going 162-0 this season. So, all right,
that's all right. Hey, I've said it off the air. I love your optimism. Optimism, private.
Could they go 6-0? Yes.
The way they're playing, yeah. Well, I tell you what, I think they break the curse in Colorado. I think they sweep. But that Twins team is playing really good right now. The problem is, I'll be honest with you, I did not look at the matchups and see who we're getting. They've got a couple of pretty good pitchers over there. I think they
got the Cowboy.
Still a good. I think 4-2 will still be a week. I know that we are. Let's see who we going against. I'm gonna look it up real quick. So. Yeah, we're facing the rookie Matthews. He just had his first start the other day, and then we get over, which we're not getting our best. So that would help. But I'm still going to go 4-2. I'm going to be a little bit cautious.
I like that, but I want to be different from you this week. So I'm going to go 5.
Well, as long as you go above me.
Yeah, I'm going 5-1.
Okay, again.
Jay would probably go 3-3.
Yeah,
but I think to me the key is tomorrow night's game. If they win tomorrow night, I think they easily go 5-1. If they lose, obviously it makes it harder to go 5-1. Yeah. They've done it a couple times, but I'm gonna say 5-1. I'm going on again. They are so far better than the only thing that scares me about the Rockies games is it depletes your bullpen because they can be high scoring games and it's they have that big outfield. Even if you're not hitting home runs, you got that big outfield. It takes a lot out of the pitchers. Yeah. So hopefully, who do we have going? I know we have Cease going Saturday, right?
Yeah, we have Waldron, Cease, and Musgrove.
Yeah, so Musgrove is going to be on a pitch count.
Yeah.
So hopefully Cease can be Cease and go like 7 innings, and keep that would be nice. 6 or 7 innings would be nice, and then because we want to keep AC happy.
Yeah.
And then hopefully Waldron. Just get through that first inning. He throws so many pitches in the first inning.
They both have high ERAs in the first inning.
Yeah.
So a little twist here. We got L.A. They're going to St. Louis for 3, and then Seattle at home. What do you think?
Both tough teams.
And let's try not to be ridiculous.
Okay. I think they go 0-6. No, I'm kidding. St. Louis is tough, but St. Louis has been inconsistent the last 2 seasons. Yeah. They're not the same organization. They're better this season than last season, but they're still not the same as they were in the past. I think they can take 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. It's going to be hot. Yeah. It's going to be humid out there. That's tough for a West Coast team to go out there and play those games when it's humid and sticky, when you're not used to it.
Seattle.
It's 3 at home against Seattle. It depends on who Seattle's pitching, but Seattle's a good team. So I think maybe Dodgers go 3-3.
Well, Seattle's pitching Wu, Miller, and Gilbert, so they're getting a couple of
really?
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I honestly I think it's a 3-3 week for them. I think you're right for being on the road. I think Seattle would do even better if it was at Seattle because they love
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
in that ballpark, and Seattle doesn't score a whole lot of runs, so that's the trick. You know,
Yeah.
they got to get that good pitching. So, so we got Arizona going to Tampa Bay and to Miami for 3 each, and then they're going to 3 for Boston after that. They
So
got
they're
a
going
9 coming up.
they're going to Miami and Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, Miami, and then
Well, I'll be honest,
9, yeah.
the way they're playing, they could go 6-0.
Well, Tampa Bay is not an easy task. Obviously, we can say the same thing about us, but yes, they're going to Miami, and Miami right now is just getting pushed. So I will be surprised if they don't go 5-9. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to say 6-0 just to jinx them.
yeah.
I hope they go 0-6 because Oz has the Dodgers going 0-6.
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers. But anyway, I got to wrap this up because I got another show to do after this. But hey, we had
love
8
the
people.
Participation, folks. Thanks for joining us, man.
It makes
love
it a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable. Hopefully, we come back next week and have another because this is fun. It's like I don't know if you saw the video of this guy from Pittsburgh who came to the Petco for 3 games, and he was just like, "Oh my God, there's 40-something thousand people here on a Monday night to watch a game. What's going on with San Diego?" And he just couldn't believe and then he was out Gallagher Square going, look at this screen they have out here. This is amazing. Oh my God. It was just, Petco is the place to be in San Diego.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And I get to go to a game next month.
All right. We'll see you in a couple of weeks here.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for everyone that joined us.
Again, everybody.
Spread the word. We're here every week. Next week, Jay, the other Padre, might be here.
Yeah.
But that's all we got. Hasta luego and goodbye.
Good night, guys. Bye.